Well, I am sorry about that. We are back here at Elephant Sanctuary, Brazil. We are out here in the middle of the habitat of Yard 4. Mar is in the lead. Mar is hopefully they're going to come this way so you guys can get a better look. I'm not sure. Is it connecting? Yeah. Sorry, just checking with Mateus to see if we have connection here. Hello, ladies! Mar may take a left-hand turn. I'm not sure. We'll see if she can come this way. If not, we're going to get super close. But just wanted to share a little bit with you our lovely, lovely, lovely girls. Trying to zoom in, but that's not working. There we go. Mar in the lead, followed by Bambi. Hey, Marbug. You gonna go up to the trough? Hello, good girls. Mateus is gonna see if he'll get his attention. Mar likes making a left-hand turn here. Heading towards the water trough. Hard to see with all the grass, which it's wonderful to have all the grass. Wonderful for them. It's a fabulous life. Lots of food, lots to graze on. Oh, there's Hannah. Hannah's bringing up the rear there. So bear with me as we move around a little bit. I'm going to try to walk up the hill. Mateus is going to bring their food up to where Mara wants to be because, well, it's the sanctuary and they get to eat where they want to eat. So give me a second here. I'm going to walk around. I will try not to lose reception again. But our reception has not been great these days. But we really wanted to take a chance to show you Miss Mara and show you how things are going. She's going to keep walking up that way. All right, give me a second. We're going to go for a little stroll on our own here. All right, so as we do this, just wanted to, again, just share a little bit what's going on out here, let you know how things are going. It's been a long time since we have last chatted live. Our internet connection, but it's not always 100% stable. And this being the rain season, all the grass is super tall, so visibility is a little bit tough. Again, it's fabulous for them, but not always great to see how things are going. I'm going to go up here a little bit more. If I lose reception, I'm sorry. I'll have to walk a little bit further away from the girls. And move back towards the router here on the camera pole. Let's see how close I can get. All right, I'm going to stop here. And I'll zoom in a little bit more. Uh-oh. Hopefully they're going to go around these bushes here in a second. I'm actually going to climb up on the fence and get a better look. Sorry for the rough camera here. Hannah, Bambi just spun around because Hannah's going to come up. Hopefully we'll get a little vocalization here. There's Miss Mara at the fence. Bambi facing down the hill, and I'll pan to the right a little bit and show you Miss Hannabug. So many of you have been watching Miss Mara's the last few weeks, how Mara's been doing. And a little bit of rough patch for her. But the last few days, she's been doing really, really well. Her appetite's pretty much back to normal for her. Her appetite is normally sporadic. It's not ideal, but she's doing great. And they've been super happy out here. They came out after here's Miss Honeybee. They came out here yesterday evening, and last night was just amazing out here. Just so beautiful and brilliant and gorgeous night. Everyone was just, just as elephants should be, as happy as could be, as peaceful and calm as imaginable. When we say they're in the small yards back by the barn, these are still substantially bigger than virtually every zoo in North America and South America, actually around the world. But But for sanctuary, they're small. They're just a few acres. All three together are about 5 acres. Oh, there's Mara. Hold on a second. I'm going to stop talking, get vocalization maybe. Only a little vocalization. There's some rumbles, but they're not super loud. So a little bit quiet. I'm going to try to walk up the fence a little bit so we can see a little more of Hana. All right, I'm not going to go any further because, again, we might risk losing connection here. Getting pretty far away from the router. But as I said, she's been doing well, recovered well after her bloating incident. It's not uncommon with elephants in captivity. A lot of elephants in captivity have major GI issues, especially after so many years of negligent care, inappropriate diets, not enough exercise, the whole works. Oh, I don't know what I've been saying. Mara's over there with Hana. Bambi's at the fence getting a drink. Mara's the one that's closest to us now. There's a nice little rumble. You guys can't hear that, I don't think. Soft rumbles this evening. This is kind of the normal evening ritual. Normally right around this time each day we give them their afternoon, early evening meal. Comprises of fruits, vegetables, supplements, hay. They normally come over to the trough. They can come over to the trough anytime they want, of course. It's always here and filled for them. But this is normally a time when they come over, we check them out. Sometimes in a little bit, we'll do one of Mara's injections. Along the fence, and she'll get some supplements and a little bit of extra food in her. Sorry if I start swatting bugs here. The bugs this time of night are horrific. There's Hana on the right. She has a big lazy nose. Susan just asked, where are we? We are at the back of yard 4, by the 4B water trough. I should have put on bug spray. Bugs are horrific right now. Sorry I can't go around in front of them so you see their lovely faces. It is too far out of reception zone. And Bambi's going to move over to the left here in a minute, our left. Mateus will have her walk away so Mara gets a little bit more space to eat some of her goodies. Bambi and Hana can be a little pushy while Mara's picking through her food. Yeah, somebody just said, look how happy and healthy they are. They're really doing well. You know, Mara's issue with GI issues, it's a chronic issue. We don't know exactly what has gone on. We don't know what the problem is. It is going to be something, something chronic. It is going to be something that she will probably have for the rest of her life. And it's likely something we can't do much about except for support her. A lot of people have asked about surgeries. It's just not an option. Abdominal surgery is it's just not an option. You can't do that to an elephant and put everything back and have it stay in place. There's too much mass. Not only that, they'll have those pesky trunks and they would rip at any sutures you try to put in. So it's just that's a brief summary. I mean, there's a million reasons why that wouldn't work. People have talked about, can we do any sort of other scans, CT scans, MRIs, anything of that nature? And the answer is simply no. That equipment just doesn't exist for an elephant to stay there. The other element of that, if you're going to do like a CT scan, they're going to have to sit still, which is going to mean some sort of standing sedation, which is not something we would do to an elephant in Mara's condition. Just gonna add fuel to the fire of what's going on in her belly, or what we think is going on in her belly. So there's no way to know. What we do is kind of process of elimination and working through the different things that it could be, analyzing, testing where we can, and trying to dig as much information as we can with the limited tools that are available for diagnosing elephants. So you're gonna get a bunch of elephant butts. Like I said, I can't go around to the front because I will lose reception. But you have a Hana butt on the right, a Mara butt in the middle, and a Bambi butt on the left. We know you guys are all incredible. You have always been so supportive through thick and thin. And one thing that we try to do is share as much as we possibly can what's going on with the girls. Sometimes it's tricky because we don't always have the answers. And without the answers, people ask a bunch of questions, and we'd love to be able to give you those answers. But unfortunately, with elephants, sometimes those answers just don't exist. As I was just talking about, we don't really know what's going on with her. There's no way to know exactly what's going on with her. So the best thing we do is give her the best life possible. As you can see, I mean, 3 beautiful friends. They are just amazing how these 3 have grown together. It's not just Mara and Hana anymore. And, it is the 3 together. It's also each one individually with the other. You have a wonderful bond with Bambi and Mara. Bambi's very protective of Mara, and then you also have a beautiful, loving, joyful friendship with Hana, as you guys have seen in the videos recently, with Hana and Bambi running in the rain, playing in the rain, just having an absolute blast. So just wonderful to see those celebrations and see the joy. All 3 of these elephants were listed as having possible social problems. And look at all 3 of them. They're just remarkable. And all 3 of them lived alone for many years. And it's just, after all these years, there are still no words. There are still absolutely no words to be able to determine, or to be able to fully define what it is to these elephants to have this life. We all want it to be forever, but forever isn't possible for any of us, especially for these older girls that have been through so much before getting here. One thing we've talked frequently about is the age of elephants in captivity here in South America. The vast majority are over 50, and they've already exceeded the average life of captive elephants in North America. So they come with even greater hardships. A number more years of negligent care before they go to the sanctuary. So, Han over there on the right is 64 now, 65 now. So these are not spring chickens anymore. We will have Gujamina coming, who is a spring chicken. I think she's 22 years old now. It's gonna be remarkable to watch her explore this life with her mom. Be amazing for each other. So much to share, so much to observe. So back to where I was on the tangent before I got off on a tangent. We want to share as much as possible. We can't always share everything because we don't always have the answers, but we try to share as much as possible. Recently, no pun intended, approaching the elephant in the room. There actually been some vicious rumors around in Argentina right now about Mara died. Mara is clearly not dead, and we would be the first to let you guys know. Mara is there in the middle. She is the same old Mara, a little skinnier, but same cheeky smile, same wonderful sounds. Same demanding little lady when it comes to dinner time. I don't know if she's going to yell at Mateus because he's being pretty attentive, but sometimes when you miss a moment, she will, yell at you for more food. She's pretty amazing. Hana's going to come over, see if she can steal something here. I don't know if you can see Mara has a watermelon in front of her, and Hana's going to try to take it. Not a good friend, Hana. I guess sharing is caring, but not when it comes to feeding a little skinny elephant. So again, off on another tangent, but Mara is clearly here in front of us. She is doing well. but in reality, her system is substantial. Her situation is substantial. Her ailments are chronic. They've been with her for a long time, we believe, and it could lead to her demise. We don't know when that's going to be. We hope it's for many years to come. But it's a lot of work tending to these older elephants, as we all know, with geriatric care with animals, geriatric care with people. It's very nuanced. It's very detailed. It's very difficult at times. We have to use a lot of caution. We have sometimes a limited number of options that we can use to treat them because of compromise. We had that with several elephants in the past. Pelusa was one of those, not an elephant that was here, but an elephant that was in Argentina that died because of basically because of her feet falling off. Her feet were grossly infected, but she already had liver and kidney compromise, which really diminished what we could do or suggest they do for her treatment without causing further liver and kidney compromise. So it's a challenge. It's very difficult. It's very nuanced, but it's something that we are just absolutely honored to be able to do, to be able to provide for these girls for as much as possible and celebrate every moment that we can. I'm not sure how much you guys can hear, but one of the just incredible things about this environment is just being surrounded by nature. Just there's nothing here. We don't have traffic noise. There's no outside interference except for the construction noise that we make when building more fences. Just a remarkable place for them to reconnect to what it means to be an elephant in nature, as much nature as possible. Somebody just said, is Mara better? That's kind of what we're here talking about, showing that Mara is doing much better, but Mara's situation is chronic. We don't know exactly what's going on because it's going to be impossible to know exactly what's going on. They just don't have the testing, the equipment to test them just doesn't exist. So not going to be an option to ever fully know, unfortunately. Likely not until necropsy, as we've seen with elephants in the past. For those of you who know our past, working with elephants in the sanctuary in Tennessee, with elephants like Ned and Loda and Barbara, all these elephants that had gone through so much before they arrived, and some not even having, Ned was only 21 years old, but he is, a substantial part of his GI system was completely ulcerated at 21 years old. Stress, improper diet are huge contributors. Of course, they can have genetic predispositions to certain ailments, but captivity and what they go through before getting to sanctuary is sometimes it takes its toll. So yes, Mara's doing much better. She's out here at the back of yard 4. We had her in the smaller spaces close to the barn so we could keep a better eye on her for a couple of days. But yesterday, after seeing several really good days with her, we opened up and they're out here at the back of yard 4 exploring. Last night was just incredible out here, as I said earlier in the messages, just really peaceful. One of those perfect nights, beautiful stars, beautiful moon, elephants that are so gentle, and there's just a different connection to what's around them at night. And it's like that for all of us. And anybody that is nature buffs, and when you get out and we can go camping or, evening hike, or it's just, nighttime's incredible. Nighttime in nature is just, it's a different world, and it really is, it's special for all of us. A lot of people think elephants are more active during the day, and in some situations they will be, but these girls are definitely active at night. We saw this in the sanctuary in Tennessee as well. A lot of movement at night, a lot of exploration, a lot of trumpeting, a lot of rumbling, a lot of noise in the middle of the night that we can hear from our house, which is actually really cool to hear, especially Bambi's giant rumbles. She has the loudest, deepest, most dynamic rumbles that I think we've ever heard, and they definitely echo throughout the property at night. But it's incredible. It's sanctuary life. There's we can talk all about the nuances and details, but it's just there are no words that fully put it in perspective. I'm sorry, somebody just said they don't understand anything that I'm saying. I'm sorry, my Spanish is horrific. My Portuguese is okay, but especially when doing these, we're going to stick to English for now. Sorry about that. There's a lot of comments saying Scott was the founder of the Sanctuary in Tennessee. Yes, founder of the Sanctuary in Tennessee. Started that back in 1995. It was the first sanctuary of this nature. We're giving open space. It was an experiment for us too. We really didn't know what to expect. We started off with 100 acres and thought maybe we can help 4 elephants. And based on what we saw with the elephants and how they evolved and the transformations, it just kind of set us on a path to further growth and helping more and more elephants and giving them a life that we didn't think was possible. And certainly the world didn't know was possible. Most of our colleagues at the time said we're crazy. Elephants can become rogue and wild and, knock down all the trees. And, we didn't know what to expect. But what we saw is elephants return back to a more passive nature, back to the roots. Elephants that were labeled as autistic. Many of you know Sissy, autistic, antisocial, a killer. She is one of the sweetest, kindest, softest elephants I've ever met, and a true leader. Kind of like Rana a little bit, leading passively, leading, knowing when to be there and knowing when to step away, knowing when just an energetic influence is enough. Being a leader is not about, dictating. It's about guiding. It's about supporting. It's knowing, how to ebb and flow. And Sissy was that to her core. She was just unbelievable, self-sacrificed for the others, just an unbelievable elephant. And these transformations that we saw with these elephants, in case you didn't know, Sissy was my favorite. It took me a long time to admit that, but she just definitely has a soft spot in my heart. She, these elephants in those early years of Sanctuary in Tennessee really defined the possibilities and forced us to open our minds even further and forced us to expand, forced us to just know that there are no limits to these elephants and their recovery. When we, sorry, I'm looking at comments at the same time, getting distracted. No limits to their recovery, no limits to their transformation. And that's kind of what brought us here is, after 16 years of Sanctuary in Tennessee, is realizing that more solutions were needed. And there weren't enough of them. There's a lot of progressive actions here in South America. What's happening in Argentina is unbelievable. Just not the closure, but the full transformation of 2 of the most prominent zoos with Mendoza and Buenos Aires to eco parks, the relocation at great expense, time, and effort to relocate the vast majority of exotic animals to appropriate sanctuaries. It's just unheard of around the world, and it's just setting a new tone for what should be. It's recognizing the past for what it was and what it needs to be, what the future needs to be. Recognize that we have to do better, and they're setting a new standard. But that doesn't exist without the sanctuaries. And without a sanctuary here in South America, those elephants really didn't have many options. Moving them to the United States would be virtually impossible, crazy expensive, logistical nightmare. And much more difficult on these individuals as well with that distance. So I'm rambling once again, as you guys know I do. But that's why we're here, is to give elephants a chance and work in conjunction with all those that are working around the world to give elephants and animals in general a better life, set a new trend, start a new path forward for elephants in zoos and elephants in captivity, animals in captivity, to give them a lot more of what they need versus more of what we want. And of course, I say that what we all want here in this group is to give these elephants this life, to give the elephants even more than more than what is possible here. But we're all doing what we can to transform these elephants and give them as much as we can. I can hear Kat laughing about my rambles now. Somebody just asked about the dog that just walked by. That was Minnie. For those that you saw the crates leaving the other day to go down to Mendoza, Minnie was in that little video. Minnie's out here again. A lot of times Minnie and Bugsy will come out with us. We don't normally take the truck. The four-wheelers were tied up today. So we took the truck out here. And Bugsy, I don't think he followed, but Minnie did. Yes, somebody just asked, have you ever worked with elephants younger than Gajamina? Yes, I have personally. At the sanctuary, when we started the sanctuary, Tara was just 21, I think, or 22. And Flora was also, I think, 22 when she arrived at the sanctuary too. She was just a spring chicken as well. I've worked with many younger elephants in my early years of working with elephants. Was around with a newborn calf and a couple of younger elephants up in Canada. But this is the first time I'm working with an elephant that has been so, I guess, confined. Gijamina really doesn't know anything about the outside world except for what her mom has told her or other elephants have shared with her. She really doesn't know what it means to walk on dirt. She doesn't know what it means to walk through a field, to play in a dirt pile, to, rub on a tree. Most elephants in captivity, not all, but many elephants in captivity either started in the wild or those that traveled in circus got to experience a little bit of the outside world in those journeys. Gijamina has not. It's one of the most confined elephants I've ever witnessed, and we're excited to see how she does and excited to watch her transformation here at the sanctuary. Thanks, Katie, for supporting my rambles. Sorry, somebody asked another question about the dogs. I'm trying to scroll back down without using. Oops. Oh, Maggie just said, how are the elephants with the dogs? They're actually really good. The dogs are super sensitive to the elephants as well. It depends on the elephant, depends on the dog. When Bambi first came, she was, a little bit weary of the dogs, a little bit unsure of them. Mara as well. But it's about mutual respect. It's about learning the boundaries of one another. We've talked about this with Lady. Of course, it's the same species, but we talked about it with Lady and Hana and Mara. They'll be in the same yard and they just know the limit. They know that they have this, the space that Lady's comfortable with, and that 5-6 meters, and past that, closer to that, Lady's not comfortable, and they all just kind of respect that limit. And it's the same with the dogs. They get to see, what's going on. They get to read the elephants. They see when they're not making somebody comfortable or when they're making somebody uncomfortable. And the dogs are also really attentive to our request. I think this environment just lends to that. So if we say, hey guys, not now, you have to go play somewhere else, they're really good about it. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time they get it. So somebody said, where's Mara? I think Kat just answered as well. Mara's in the middle, Bambi's on the left, Hana's on the right. Hana is getting a little chunky while we've been trying to give Mara more food. I've been trying to give Mara more food, and her friend is definitely taking advantage of that. Hana's a cutie. Again, sorry, for those that are just joining in, sorry, we just have 2 butts and an elephant side. I can't go around in front because I'm going to lose reception if I go up that far. I'm right on the edge of connection zone right now. I'm actually glad it's been this stable for this long. Hey, man. Hey, punk. Let's see if Minnie comes over for a closer look. I want to thank everyone for answering the questions as well. You know, a lot of you are in there and have been following us for a long time, and know a lot of the nuances and can often answer questions better than we can. So we appreciate you guys all chiming in and helping to respond to some of these questions to make sure that everyone is as informed as possible. Hey, Pumpkin. Pan over to, we'll do a dog cam for a minute. Hi, Minnie Nugget. Hi. Minnie was here on the property with her sister Molly when we arrived, and actually we couldn't even come close to them. They were super skittish. All right, and I'm gonna go back to the elephants. Super skittish, and then it seemed like a kind of, after several weeks, kind of turned around almost immediately. Went from not being able to touch them to Molly being in our face. But they're really good, sweet dogs. Sorry, I just asked a question. When you have a mask on, does this affect the behavior? No, generally no. I think initially, Lady preferred to watch us without masks on. I think she's a little bit more attentive to nuances and nuances of our expressions. She's I don't know, she's very detail driven, very detail oriented. She's very demanding of excellence. And I think she appreciated the intimacy that comes without a mask, to be able to read one another. I mean, they watch you very closely. They watch our shifts just as we need to watch their shifts. And, but now I don't see my little gentle kick to Bambi. I can't see what Bambi's nose is doing, but I imagine that Bambi's trying to steal food up there. But now we can have our masks on with Bambi, and with Lady, and of course, no big deal. They seem to get it. They understand. Somebody said, well, we'll be doing text updates. Yes, when the next few elephants come, we will be doing text updates. But that's a little ways away. We'll be letting you guys know. We still have a few weeks before all that happens, but we're getting there. Somebody asked about the dogs being friends with the elephants. Absolutely, that option exists. It's really rare. It's really unique to have that type of friendship. Many of you have seen the Tara and Bella story. That's super unique. I've seen other friendships too, but it's rare to have that depth of bond that those two had. And but absolutely, if they decided to, sure. That was one of those interesting things that we saw that just evolved on its own. Of Tara following Bella out in the pasture, and when Tara would lay down to take a nap, Bella would look after her, and then when Tara got up, she would walk away, and then it just evolved into a closer and closer and closer friendship. So yeah, completely on its own. And we had many dogs at the time that Bella was there, and just Bella and Tara just, for whatever reason, had that bond. And that definitely happens in certain circumstances. I think unique circumstances. But absolutely, that option exists. The bugs here are really bad right now. Somebody just said, I think it's about the tail wagging. Sometimes it's just peaceful. Sometimes it's just this little gentle, passive wagging that they do. It can be because of bugs. It can be because of sun. It can be because of irritation. With anything that elephants do, just like us, it can have multiple meanings. Laughter can be a nervous laughter or a joyful laughter. And same thing with elephants. Trumpeting, it can mean multiple things. The ear flapping, depending on the type of ear flapping, it can change. The tail swatting or wagging can be multiple things. You have to kind of put all those pieces together. And sometimes even then, it's just a subtle change in the eye will tell you what is actually happening. There are some wild fruits here. They don't eat a lot of the wild fruits from the savannah. I'm looking around the pasture right now. There's not a lot here right now. Mostly the grass and leaves and branches and roots. But there are some fruit around. Just not a lot they eat. There's a very common fruit in this part of the savanna that is called Peaky, and the elephants do not like it at all. But there are some others that they do kind of pick up, but nothing that is, it's not like the blackberries of Tennessee. We haven't seen anything like that so far. Somebody asked about the dynamics when the new girls come. You just never know. One of the interesting things that happens when a new elephant comes, if it's just one elephant, it's not only about that elephant relating to the group, it's how that elephant relates to each individual. And it can change the relationships with the others. You have a new friend come to the group, you may feel closer to that friend than you did the ones before. And it's really part of the interesting dynamic of sanctuary, and giving them that option, giving them that opportunity to have that type of dynamic and diverse friendships. Adds a different levels of complexity, which is all part of elephant social nature. It'll be really interesting to see, because of the mother-daughter relationship, how that changes things, how that impacts their relationship. But also, does Pocha let Gujamina stand on her own, or is she going to be super protective of Gujamina, guarded of her? We just don't know. It'll be really fascinating to watch. Holly just asked, have you ever thought of playing piano music for the girls? We've seen some of those videos. I think a lot of times those scenarios are interesting when there's really nothing else going on. But again, it's the best we can do for them is just let them have that life to the best possible, and have their life and autonomy in the best possible way. And a lot of times it's just letting them be. Sometimes they are entertaining, sometimes they like that distraction. But those are kind of a short-lived moment, and I don't think it, and oftentimes, has a substantial positive. I think it is exciting sometimes, but sometimes there's also nervousness with that. You never know how they're going to respond. Sometimes it could be negative. Maybe they just don't like it at all. And so we just try to, as much as possible, just encourage them to be what they should be, and take that time to develop those friendships, and give them the space that they can explore on their own, give them a space that feels like they are fulfilled. And I think that's the ultimate goal here. None of these girls have had babies. Most of them lived a mostly solitary life. And I don't think any of these have been around any males. All right, guys, it has been fun. I'm going to have to go. I have to go try to see if Mara will let us do an injection here. If not, we'll do it a little bit later. We'll see how she's feeling. But you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here again. Thanks for much joining us. Sorry it's been a while. We'll try to do a few more. But just wanted to share a little bit more with this wonderful threesome of Bambi on the left, Mara in the middle, and Hana on the right. As many of you know, Mara has not been 100% for the last several months. And a couple weeks ago, a little bit worse. But she is on the rebound. She's doing well. She's eating well. And we're going to keep doing what we can to look after her and everyone else, and do what we can for them here at Sanctuary. These girls have been through a whole lot before they get here. And it really is just remarkable how their lives changed. But even with all of that, we can't undo all of the damage from the past. We can't resolve 50 years of, essential negligence, even though unintentional, just by the small spaces and the limited diet and all the things that captivity offers or doesn't offer. That takes its toll on these old girls, with joint problems and digestive problems and tooth problems and vision problems and social problems. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Sanctuary is amazing. You guys know this. We all know this. But Sanctuary is not always roses and butterflies and wonderfulness. There are some hardships that go with it. There are some struggles as they learn how to be an elephant. There's struggles with physical recovery sometimes. And, we can't sometimes we can't do as much as we want. For those of you know elephants from the previous sanctuary that we worked at with Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee, Ned was with us just for a few months. Barbara was just 5 years. Um, you know, Loda just a few months also. I mean, these elephants arrive sometimes in just horrific conditions. Ramba, she just had a couple of short months here. But if you look at what those those short months meant for her, was unbelievable. I mean, this elephant completely transformed overnight from arriving from her facility in Chile until she arrived here. Just a complete transformation instantaneously. And to watch that, makes every day that they're here worth celebrating. And it really is about giving them as much time as possible through to experience a little bit of what they should have had all along. So much has been taken away from them, and this is our chance to do what we can to give them as much as possible for as long as they have. Each day is worth celebrating. Each day is worth rejoicing. And I think now more than ever with what's going on in our world, we all are completely attuned to that now. We tend to take a lot of things for granted as humans, but really every day is a beautiful day here with these wonderful ladies. So with that, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting this incredible life. We will try to do more. We don't always have time and we don't always have internet reception, but we will try to do more. And maybe, actually, I'm going to hang out just for a minute. Oh, I always do this. One more minute. Mara may turn around here if you can see her beautiful face in a second. She's drinking some water right now. We'll see what she does after. I can hear Kat laughing from way up on top of the hill, up in the house, because I never end when I say I'm going to end. We always have to go a few more minutes. It's a beautiful Mara face. Mara does have some medication on the side of her face, on her cheek, where she was laying down the other night. There was a stump there, and there's a few little sticks, small stumps, a few little sticks zipping up, and she ended up scratching her face up a little bit, so trying to keep the bugs away. I'm sorry, I'm not watching the screen, I'm watching the elephants. All right, guys, thanks again. You are amazing. Thanks for making this possible. Thanks for giving these guys life, this beautiful life. And thanks for your trust and understanding and support through all the highs and lows and joys and difficulties of Sanctuary. It really is a remarkable life with the highs and the lows. And just amazing to be part of this and amazing to have you guys here with us on the journey. We will stay in touch. We will try to do this more often, and we will talk soon. You guys all take care. Lots of love. Big hugs from Brazil. Ciao, ciao for now.